1. Ty Gibbs is a NASCAR Cup Series winner. Is it surprising that it took as long as it did? 2. Cup guys win O'Reilly and truck races. Congratulations. 3. No Indy 500 for Colton Herta. Will the new F2 schedule keep the 500 from getting the 33 entries, among other things? What is going on, everyone? Welcome in on this Tuesday edition of a Motorsport Monday. Thank you for coming back here with us 24 hours later. I'm your host, Ben Schneider, joined as always by Brandon Cross. Brandon, how are you?
I'm doing well, and thank you, Ben, and thank you for cooperating with me here. Yes, it is all my fault we're here on Tuesday, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Duty called for baseball for our team, so turned out okay. But well, at least want to get the show in if we can, and here at the Bristol weekend, left us a little bit to talk about. And Ty Gibbs finally is a NASCAR Cup Series winner, and I think this one was a little more on the deserving side.
Yeah, we've got some things we'll get into here. Expecting again, it'll probably be a lighter show tonight. Obviously, the news is cycled through for an additional 24 hours at this point, but we still want to make sure we got it in this week here. But it worked out perfectly, actually, because it was a big sports night for me. We had the WNBA draft, got to keep tabs on that, and then my Flyers, for the first time in 6 years, are headed back to the postseason. So
congratulations!
Celebrating. It's kind of sad that it got to the point with that team where you had me leaping up out of my couch for a simple playoff berth. But that's where we're at, and it's a start at least. So now let's see what one of the more hotter teams in the National Hockey League can do as we approach the Stanley Cup playoffs here. But we'll get into some of that stuff here towards the end of the show. We obviously have to start with Ty Gibbs. Obviously, took a little while, a little bit longer than I think some people were expecting based on how he dominated at ARCA and then dominated what was then the Xfinity Series, winning his debut race on the Daytona road course several years ago in 2021, and then following it up with a championship the very next year. Came into Cup early, even got drafted in to replace Kurt Busch at 23-11 after his injury, and then replaced Kyle Busch after Kyle moved on to RCR. We'll have more on Kyle a little bit later on in this show as well. But yes, first and foremost, Brandon, what's your reaction to Ty Gibbs, Cup Series winner Ty Gibbs, I should say, and are you as surprised as I am that it took him as long as it did to find victory lane, almost 4 seasons when you factor in that partial season he did in 2022?
Yeah, it took quite a bit, didn't it? But especially this season here in 2026, he's found himself closer to the checkered flag more than he has in all those other starts combined. So it definitely has been just a matter of when than if in 2026. Another couple of things I've been thinking about is not only, he was one of those drivers, he was a driver that replaced Kurt Busch. And you think about where Kurt Busch's first victory was. It was also at Bristol Motor Speedway, 2002. And whenever he had the run-ins with Mr. Excitement himself, Jimmy Spencer. And then you think about the car he's in. It's formerly the number 18. Well, who's been dominant at Bristol in years past? The sweep. It's the Candyman, Kyle Busch. And so using that car, basically that the remnants of that car, renumbered and everything. There's a lot of different connections to be made here, but also something to be said about different drivers that got their first Cup victory at Bristol Motor Speedway. Granted, it hasn't always, been carved the same as it is now, but still, the day race. I love that we have the day race back on the calendar. I know people still look at the grandstands and say what they want to say, but I don't think they'll ever be satisfied. I think that was a pretty decent crowd for a day event at Bristol compared to what we saw before we took it off the calendar to make just room for the night race. But yeah, Ty Gibbs finally able to get to victory lane, and it's been, like I said, just in the making for quite some time now, especially in this season.
So this is from J-Ski here it's from a NASCAR Wire service, I should say, via J-Ski, and this is their recap of what happened this weekend and what might happen in the future now that Ty's gotten this first win. Gibbs is entitled to a degree of swagger he didn't have before. fellow competitors will look at him differently now that he's proven he can close out a race against the best drivers in the sport. The same is true of race fans who identify with winners and wear their colors in the grandstands. Those who report on NASCAR racing will no longer be able to ask rhetorically, when will Ty Gibbs win his first Cup race? That query will now turn to Carson Hocevar. And it continues on to your point as well, Brandon, talking about car numbers. It's all but certain that Gibbs won't follow the career path of Lenny Pond, the last driver to win a Cup race in a car sporting the number 54. Pond triumphed at Talladega in 1979 and never won another race. In this case, we can ask the question, when will Ty Gibbs win again, knowing full well it won't take long?
That's
and
true.
To that point as well, if you look at Ty's results this season, you can almost look at this and say, well, it probably was a matter of when, not if, for Ty Gibbs. You look past his drafting track results, 23rd in the Daytona 500, 37th at Atlanta, 4th at Coda, 4th at Phoenix, 5th at Vegas, 6th at Darlington, 4th at Martinsville, and then the win at Bristol on Sunday. Ty Gibbs has had, all things considered, a very strong start to the season.
Yeah, really has. And it's kind of ironic, too. I was saying before we got on the show, it almost, for this race in particular, it was kind of ironic because it was almost his twin car, if you will, Riley Herbst, and the other Monster Energy machine, but for 2311, still a manufacturer teammate that almost took him out of the running because he had to, mess with the dang old overtime again. But still proving again that, this was his race to lose, and he got it done there at the end.
Yeah, I had a friend in a group chat that I'm in, maybe kind of sort of put the tinfoil hat on, so to speak, and was saying, I wonder if Kyle knew that his former car was leading, and would he have waited to retaliate against Riley?
Oh, I forgot who was the cause of that. Yeah, it was. It's all connected. It was also Kyle Busch that was getting his 100 and something laps in the making payback on Riley Herbst.
Yeah, lots of connections to this victory for Ty. It looked like he was set home free, and he had to drive back up through the field to do it. He kind of got shuffled back. He had a good qualifying spot, but was able to make his way back up to the front after that, and then had to survive an overtime restart there. I know people can say what they will about the next gen car. Everybody does have the same car, but they got to make work with, and all credit to him. I think he certainly, given the circumstances, earned this one and had to hold off some strong competition on that restart. And he's 4th in points right now. So again, I think that just goes to show the speed has been there all year. And you look who's ahead of him, Tyler Reddick, who obviously he couldn't have a better start to the year than he had. Nobody has ever in this 78-year history of NASCAR won 3 consecutive races to start the year. And then you've got a Cup champion in Ryan Blaney, and a guy who's lost more Cup championships than anybody can count, who is arguably the best to never win the Cup championship, at least so far. Denny Hamlin in 3rd, then you get to Ty Gibbs. So pretty good company up there. Only
1 DNF this season, average finish 10.5. And you think about, he kind of reminds me a little bit with this win, I mean, for obvious reasons, of Kurt Busch, because that was Kurt Busch's first victory. Also, Ty was not born yet. He was born that year, but not yet, whenever Kurt got that done.
Yeah, that is crazy to think about as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna briefly recap the ARCA West race a little bit later as well, but you had another winner born in the 2010s. Just a little bit of a preview for that coming up here as well. If you already didn't feel old enough hearing that Ty Gibbs stat.
Well, 2002, but
yes,
yeah.
Ty's 2002. Colton was 2010, but we'll get into that a little bit later here in the show. Moving on now. We should, I guess, briefly recap the O'Reilly and Truck Series races here. I honestly don't have too much to say about these. Congratulations. I will say, I guess it's probably less frustrating if it's Connor Zilisch than Kyle Larson, just because it is Connor's rookie Cup year. But you know me, like I always say, I preach consistency. I'm an absolutist. I don't like Cup drivers in these series, no matter who it is, if it's a Cup champion or a rookie nonetheless. But credit to Connor for holding off Kyle Larson. Job well done there. Yeah. Brent Cruz also showing a lot of speed, finishing 3rd. Got to think he's knocking on the door of potentially getting that first win. And then the future Hall of Famer himself, Justin Allgaier, fourth in stage 1, third in stage 2, and then fourth, finishing the race, still holds a commanding championship points lead as we approach for Chase as well. Obviously, still quite a bit of racing to get to before the reset happens, but I think establishing himself as the early championship favorite. And then Carson Kvapil as well, rounding out the top 5, doing a great job as he's jumping from that one car that Connor was driving now to a part-time 9 entry for Junior Motorsports, and then some other seats even there in between as well. So solid top 5 for him. But again, got to wonder what it might have been for Brent Cruz celebrating his first win, just like Ty Gibbs got to this week, if we didn't have the Cup guys stinking up the show. But again, that's a horse that we can, bang that drum, beat that dead horse every week on this show if we wanted to this time of year. You usually got at least a couple guys from the Cup Series in the field, and this week they came out on top.
I do have to give credit, though, Ben, to the way the O'Reilly and Craftsman Truck racing machines race at Bristol. I really like the way they're able to set up runs. It's really entertaining to see how well those cars work for Bristol Motor Speedway. Maybe not so much the Cup Series, but I was thoroughly impressed with the racing product for the lower 2. And also I want to give some shout outs to Brent Cruz for that top 3 run. Also William Sawalich, the last winner a week ago, finishing in the top 10, kind of doubling down there. And also, I think also Parker Retzloff, back-to-back top 10 for him there in 9th with Viking Motorsports.
Yeah, Parker's been very impressive. And again, I know I've said on this show, I was kind of pondering his future after that DNQ at COTA. But a couple of years ago, or that was just last year, I forget. The time is blended for me at different points the last couple of years. But like I've mentioned on this show before, certainly proving me wrong with his start to the 2026 season. That's for sure.
He was 8th at Rockingham. He was 8th at Rockingham, and he was almost top 10 at Martinsville, just outside in 11th.
Yeah. So it's been, like you said, been very consistent, and if he could potentially be in the mix for a top 5, maybe even a win. Who knows if he catches a few lucky breaks here and there. We know he can drive super speedways. We got Talladega coming up. He pushed Harrison Burton to that win in a Cup car in 2024 as well. So certainly got that to look forward to. Iceman also brings up a good point here. You had 300cars.com cars in the field this week for 3 different teams. You had Raja Karuf driving the 32, and then Corey Day in the 17, and the 88, obviously Kyle Larson. But I agree. It's unfortunate how that has played out. And I know Kelly Earnhardt Miller was saying on Twitter, going back and forth with a couple of race fans, I think, that were just asking the question. It's unfortunate. And specifically, I think for Carson in his case, because he's in the 9 car, and asking, is it really that difficult to just keep him in the 1? Why couldn't Connor Zillich have been in the 9? And her response to that was that, from a business and marketing perspective, which I will fully admit, she knows infinitely more about that side of
one of the greatest in the sport to do it.
Yeah. 100%. But again, just you've sold promos and merchandise and et cetera, to sponsors with the expectation that these drivers will be racing, in this car in this particular weekend. And then additional sponsorship is found, and thankfully Carson Kvapil can get back to full time. But you've already put that deal together for Connor to run the 1. You can't just take him out of the 1, put Carson in it, and then stick Connor in the 9 car as easily as it sounds. So, again, from a business standpoint, I understand the logistics make that tough. I do think it is a little unfortunate that he does have to jump from car to car, even within the same team. But it's better than the alternative of him only being part-time while Cup guys in there taking up those races because of the business side of things and needing the funding, needing the sponsorship or whatever. So again, and Iceman, of course, it makes the Owners' Championship more interesting. We know we both care about that more than the average fan, I suppose. But we'll certainly continue to wish him the best as his season continues on here. Got to think he might be pulling into victory lane not too distant future here as well. And Raja Karuf also, continuing to make the most of his opportunities this season as well. On the Truck Series side of things, I will say again, feel good victory for Halmar Friesen and that Chrome 62 team. And I didn't realize how long it had been since Christopher Bell had won a truck race. And I'm just going to pull up his page here to make sure I get the stat right. But I remember just hearing how long it had been for him. Yeah, you have to go back to New Hampshire of 2017 when he was still full-time with KBM, the last time he won a truck series race. And again, a little surprised. I mean, he was out of a series fully for 4 years, but he's been doing some one-offs for the last couple, including filling in for Stuart Friesen at the Glen last year and finished 4th. But on the heels of a 6th place run in Darlington in a 62 truck, goes to victory lane. Chandler Smith finished 2nd, and I want to talk about this briefly as well. A little bit of confusion in the post-race interview. Josh Sims of FS1 informs Chandler that he had won the Triple Truck Challenge $50,000 bonus because he was the highest finishing series regular. And that took Chandler by surprise. He wasn't expecting that and was like, oh, hey, that's a nice bonus. I can't believe that I had no idea. I can't believe we won it. And then it was clarified after the race that actually you didn't win it. You had to win the race. It's not like the Dash for Cash where it's just the highest finishing eligible driver. The Triple Truck Challenge is apparently.
You mean I have to beat the Leech too?
Regulars. Yeah. Sorry, Brandon. What was that?
I said you mean I have to beat the Leech too for it to count?
It's okay. Only for the regulars, but yeah, you have to win outright instead of yeah. So I guess the money just goes unclaimed there, which is a loophole that I would like to see closed. Unfortunate for Corey Heim, I should say, because Corey Heim was trying to do something that's never been done in the history of this challenge, which was win all 3 straight. And to his credit, very gracious interview from the care center saying he didn't think Christian Eckes meant to turn him around intentionally, but it did unfortunately end his night early. So that was the end of the, I guess it would have been an additional $350,000 to what he's won because he already won the $150K from the $50,000 you got for winning the first one, and then $100 for the second. So going for a $350K to make it $500,000, but wasn't meant to be for him, but wasn't meant to be for Chandler Smith either. And again, I'd like to see the rule change, but I'd also like to see the rule clarified to the point where we don't have a situation like this again, where we've got certain people saying one thing and other people saying another, and we get this confusion to the point where you're telling the driver that he's won the cash and he actually hasn't. That was a bit of a messy situation that I feel like could have been avoided. So unfortunate there, but yeah, not quite as unfortunate, I guess, as the Cup guy being in the field to steal the win. But again, we've beaten that dead horse often enough here on this show. Iceman also adding they let Corey Heim compete for money, but not a championship. Yeah, of course, that was a big talking point last week as well.
Which one's more important for you?
Yeah. Let me pull that up here if I can. I thought I have a tab open. Maybe I didn't. I'm trying to pull the driver standings up here to see.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is Chandler Smith now by 4 points over Corey Heim. He lost the points lead after his DNF this past weekend. But again, the fact that he has skipped 2 races and crashed out of a 3rd and is still 3rd in points, only 4 back, and he's not going to be championship eligible. I mean, again, I don't expect him to add races to his schedule and run the full thing, but it's the fact that it's not even an option for me that I feel like is a little bit frustrating there.
Something's got to be done for him. It's we talked about the big topic last week was waivers, or just being able to make him eligible for points. But
the biggest crime is that he's not full-time on Sundays. I mean, that's ultimately the root issue.
That's the first strike. Yeah.
But if you can't be full-time on Sundays, why not be full-time on Fridays and Saturdays at the very least and try to defend your title? But it is what it is.
There's too much prowess in his young career for him to have a year without competing for a championship somewhere.
100%. Yeah. Or O'Reilly. I don't know what ride would have been open for him as well. I just say, again, I hate that it. Again, I don't feel like we've gotten a definitive, clear answer on this, but the general belief is that it's beef with, ironically enough, the Cup Series winner this weekend, Ty Gibbs. It goes back to their ARCA days, which is why he'll never be in a JGR car, even though he obviously has a great relationship with Toyota, and that's the flagship Toyota team. I just feel like that's pretty petty beef to be carrying over all these years later here. But maybe there's more to the story that we're not aware of. I don't know, but it is unfortunate nonetheless.
I'd say Ram needs to dig in their pockets a little more and pick him up and take him up to their future Cup program.
Well, hey man, what? See, now I've got the opposite problem. Now I pulled the point standings up. We're going to pull the results back up. I believe it was Butterbean. Butterbean 10th.
Highest finishing Ram.
Breaking through into the top 10 this weekend.
Yeah. Stage 2, they had into stage 2. They had Justin Haley finish third with 8 stage points. If that matters anything to you, Corey LaJoie in 7th.
It may. Hey, it very well may when it comes time for chase cutoff. So you never know. All right, we move on now to our third story, and again, not too much of a surprise here. I kind of always felt that it was going to be tough. One more question here from Iceman before we move on. Is Corey LaJoie got a waiver? That's a great question. I haven't heard anything. I can't imagine that he would if they're not going to give one to Corey Heim, because I feel like if you either have to give one to both of them or to neither of them. But that's a good question. I didn't even think of that, mostly because I don't know that I expect Ram to be competing for a championship in just their first year. But you never know. Corey's certainly an experienced driver. I would think he could maybe at least point his way in, especially if he picks up some stage points or maybe gets a win once or twice. And obviously that pays big points as well. But no, that's a good question, though. I would have to look to see get an answer on that. I wasn't even aware. I don't even know if he's applied for one yet. That wasn't on my radar at all, but that's a good question. So we'll maybe circle back to that. Just getting back to our third topic for the night. Not much of a surprise, at least for me. I know it's been a conversation. It wasn't an F2 weekend. Could Colton Herta potentially still be in play for that 4th Andretti Global entry? Well, now we've gotten word that not only is that entry not happening, even if it did, it wouldn't be Colton Herta, because we have seen a change to the F2 schedule. This is from motorsport.com. Losing the 2 rounds in the Middle East left the single-seater series with a gaping 3-month hole in its calendar, with the next round scheduled for June's Monaco Grand Prix. But F2 will now make its debut on the undercard of the Miami Grand Prix, followed by another North American outing in Montreal at the end of May. While it has not been possible to go ahead with the 2 races in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia this month, and we look forward to being back with our passionate fans there as soon as possible, it is great news for our fans, the drivers, and the teams that Formula 2 will be racing in Miami and Montreal, said F1 CEO and President Stefano Domenicali. So, Brandon, what is your reaction to this schedule change for Formula 2, to the news that we will, in fact, now have direct racing head-to-head in Montreal with the greatest spectacle in racing, and that we have official confirmation now that there will be no possible way to get Colton Herta onto the grid for the 2026 Indianapolis 500?
Well, it feels just as good as whenever we got the news that the Indianapolis 500 and the Monaco Grand Prix were also not going to be on the same weekend. Just sour. And hate that for Colton. If there was an opportunity for him to run both, he would be. And I'm sure, I feel like his team there for F2 would be open to letting that happen if it were possible. And I'm sure a lot of sponsors would probably be able to carry over between Andretti Global and they're with F2, but the pendulum all kind of started with the war, the prevention of war, the war going on right now, and just knocking off two rounds off the calendar and just setting these things into place. If it's really because of that we can't have Colton Herta in the Indianapolis 500 on our nation's 250th birthday, it's going to be a sad thing to look at in the history books.
Yeah, well, on that note as well, obviously, long way to go. Who knows what things are going to look like in December, but also saw a report, I believe it was from, let me see if I can try to find it here. This is from Grand Prix on Instagram. Formula One could be considering holding the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix on December 6th. Adding Jeddah to the calendar would push the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix back 1 week to December 13th. Apparently that was Robert Dornbus that said that he's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix ambassador. So again, take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, the rumor mill is still running wild at this point, but
yeah,
were that to happen, this would set up a 4-race season finale, Las Vegas, and then a flight across most of the U.S. and an entire ocean and over to the Middle East to Qatar for a 5-day turnaround there, and then Jeddah, and then Abu Dhabi.
I mean, that's about their normal fare, and yeah, I could see it happening. Like, I know we're in rumor territory, but there's so much gap that we see throughout their season, especially when we get towards Christmas. It's like a whole lot of nothing, and then this, and this, and then big old stretch. So there's a lot of logistical nightmares to navigate through. But if you could get one of those back on the calendar later on, depending on what the world stage looks like, then it would be nice if you could.
Yeah. Well, as I've been saying for years, we race as one, except put an M in front of the O and add a Y onto the end of the E. We race as money, right? Money is the root of
we race for money.
Yes.
Will it make us money?
Yes, but again, like set the morals aside for just a second, because this is what I responded when this post was put in my group chat here. Morals aside, if they finish the season on a quadruple header that includes a 5-day turnaround from Vegas to Qatar, your sustainability efforts are all performative too. Anything you've done to help with these new regs is offset 1,000 times over. So, and this, again, we can talk about, the whole regulation debate here as well. But if you're that serious about sustainability, why is the calendar at 24 races to begin with? I think that's, even aside from a sustainability carbon footprint perspective, I think the teams and drivers and mechanics have all said they're completely worn out. Drivers are going to be retiring sooner. Hello, Max Verstappen, potentially. You never know.
That prime example.
It's just, it takes such a toll on, because fans always ask all the time, how big of a deal is it really to, I'm like, you guys have no idea. I go out to Sonoma once a year to be a part of a traveling circus that, maybe we go to Canada or Mexico, depending on the year. We're trying to add some international races, but that's grueling enough. Imagine going from country to country, continent to continent. And again, I can't imagine that, whatever you would lose in the sustainability efforts from going back to V8 engines and regulations that don't involve super clipping, you couldn't gain back by simply saying, hey, we got a couple of venues here. Let's make these alternate dates, like such and such. And they're already doing it with tracks like Spa, right? And historic venues at that. Monza is always rumored to be, is it going to fall off the calendar or not? Let's make these like alternate hosts, right? Maybe we go to Qatar one year and then Saudi Arabia another year if we have to have races in the Middle East. Because again, there's the whole moral question. Should we be racing there, period, to begin with? But and do we really need 3 races in the United States per year? I think 19 is a perfectly fine number of Grand Prix to be held in a single season. And if you cut 5 races from the calendar, cut all the emissions that it takes to put those races on, and then the emissions of the cars themselves not running for 5 fewer times out the season. If we can make that trade, if it means bringing V8s back, I'm all for that. So again, who knows what's going to happen next week, let alone 8 months from now in December. But something else to keep an eye on is the schedule is flexible based on current worldwide events as well.
I see a thoughtful comment here in that motorsport.com article from scook541. He writes, "Am I the only one who believes Formula 2 and Formula 3 should be confined to Europe, if for no other reason to limit the costs?" This might be, I would assume this would be someone from Europe who would say to confine it to Europe, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see both sides of that, because I can understand. Like, I think F1 Academy is another example. I can understand where, you want to advertise your series in different places around the world, and not just keep that confined to Europe. But, this is where the W Series ran into problems. I think they've tried to expand out of Europe too quickly coming out of the pandemic, and that ultimately led to their bankruptcy and downfall. So again, not that if you have a series that's fully supported by Formula One and the FIA, then I think you have to worry far less about that. But although then again, I guess they could decide, maybe it's not cost effective for us, and from a business perspective, we don't want to pump as much money into it. But yeah, I mean, I think again, certainly if you're that serious about sustainability and keeping costs down for these teams and everything, that's not a bad idea. I mean, I don't even think I don't believe the F2 champion gets to call themselves a world. It's not a world championship in the same way that the F1 title is, right? Because we went through that whole thing in 2020 where they were trying to find as many venues as possible that would be open enough to allow us to race there. And there was a whole clause in the fine print or whatever that I think you need to race at least one race on 3 different continents for it to be considered a quote unquote world championship. So, I mean, again, if that's not even a concern for the F2s and F3s of the world, then I think that commenter might be onto something there as well, but who knows? All right, we will leave it there for now and continue monitoring the Indianapolis 500. And will we get to 33 entries? Sounds like the Prima deal is not going to happen either. The defending pole sitters will not be back. They have left the door open to come back before the end of the year, last I heard, but keeps getting pushed back further and further. And we know how that frequently goes in motorsports sometimes. So I'm not holding my breath there. It's unfortunate, but it sounds like Indianapolis and Roger Penske, they may need to lend a helping hand to some of these smaller teams to maybe ensure that we get to 33 entries. Bump day might be looking like a stretch at this point, but we'll keep our eye on that. A couple more things to touch on here before we close out the show tonight on this Tuesday edition of a Motorsport Monday.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Iceman as well, one of our regulars active in the chat room. And here we go. Thank you for this as well. Abel Motorsports with Jacob Abel and AJ Foyt with Toby Sowery alleged to be our 32nd and 33rd entry. So there you go. We'll keep an eye on that. So, wild ARCA West race at Tucson. If this is not, I haven't seen the Twitter account. So forgive me if it's been decided or not, but I saw, I think it was forget who it was. Somebody was saying on Twitter that if David Smith leading laps, going from last to first at 76 years old, driving up to the lead on merit, on pace, is not the sweet move of the race, then never run the pole again. Obviously, there's some context to that. This is a track where tire management and tire saving is heavily prevalent, and I think David Smith just didn't give two flying craps about that and just drove as hard as he could up to the lead, knowing that this was an opportunity for him to lead some laps, and to his credit, was able to do just that. He did ultimately finish a few laps down, as he usually does, but where else are you going to see a 76-year-old competitor for however brief a moment as it may be at the top of their competition for the night? And that's what I love about not just motorsports, because I think you're not going to see that in a Formula 1 or Formula 2 race like we were just talking about, or an IndyCar race for that matter, but we've seen it here in ARCA West, and I think David Smith deserves some credit for that. But obviously the biggest congratulations go to Cole Denton. Again, what I was alluding to earlier, very young driver, very bright future ahead of him. Another ARCA winner, born in the year 2010. So again, just continuing to make me feel old here. We've had Max Reeves and Tristan McKee, and now add Cole Denton to that list here as well. But yeah, great to see him having success here, and we'll keep our eye on the ARCA season as it continues on. But the biggest question that I'm asking right now, Brandon, is we're solidly through about the first quarter or so of the NASCAR Cup Series season. What is going on with Kyle Busch? Do you have any answers? Because I don't.
Mad at everything, mad at his crew chief. He might fire them again. I think he's just really frustrated with how this RCR deal has gone. 2022 was the best part of it, I guess. And it's just kind of
his first.
23? Excuse me, 2023. You're right. Yeah, 22 was the last year with Gibbs. Yeah. The win at Auto Club and all that. But yeah, it is plummeted, and RCR's Cup program with it, where I mean, just take a look at the results here for Bristol. Austin Dillon, 18th. Kyle Busch, 25th. I mean, I'm not saying Austin Dillon is not capable of running better than Kyle Busch every week, but it seems like he's got, the good car, and Kyle Busch is sitting with the other car some weeks. But yeah, you understand why he's got to be frustrated. There's just a lot of different factors into why it's like this, and it makes more and more sense why you would just decide to go to a full-time Craftsman Truck Series ride and try to compete for that championship and take care of your full lineup.
Yeah, I mean, if I were in his shoes, that's what I would do at this point. I wouldn't even bother trying to find. We're hearing these Spire rumors, or I can't imagine. I mean, certainly wish Alex Bowman the best. And by the way, great to see Alex Bowman back behind that 48 this weekend as well.
Yeah,
we should mention
and what a weird place to get back into it, where you get some of the most G forces on the calendar. I mean, hats off to him
for sure. So I don't excuse me, unless his condition worsens and he decides he needs to step away from full-time competition, which we certainly obviously hope, but that's not the case. I can't imagine Hendrick letting him go after this season, and I can't imagine any of our other three drivers are going anywhere anytime soon. So I don't think a Hendrick reunion is on the cards, nor is one at Joe Gibbs Racing. So I don't really know what options that leaves him with, aside from the aforementioned Spire rumors. But even Austin Dillon, man, again, I'm not saying Austin Dillon, I think, is an elite Cup championship level driver, so to speak. But
he's C tier.
He's good enough to get you a top 10 here and there. Most weeks he's going to run between 11th and 20th, I feel like.
And a knockout win at Richmond every now and then. That's no pun intended.
Yeah. They do seem to have that setup nailed down.
They do.
Era, but even he, man, it's not like he's, living up to his potential either. Kyle doesn't have a top 10 this year. Even Coda's his best finish for 12th. That's where he looked like maybe he was going to break that win drought last year. Man, I thought he seemed miserable as his Gibbs tenure was coming to an end. But he is certainly going through it, and his fans are going through it as well, Brandon. I don't know if you've seen some of these tweets here and these Instagram posts that certain people are putting out. But
if they're AI, I really don't want to see them.
It's not AI, I promise.
Okay, thank you.
But this is what RCR tweeted out. Boot Barn handshake emoji. Texas Austin Dillon 3 is bringing the Boot Barn number 3 Chevrolet to Texas Motor Speedway for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. Go to rcrracing.com for more details. I think that's where Austin Dillon should be full-time as well, by the way. I would, if Austin Dillon went full-time O'Reilly Racing and won another championship, I couldn't be mad at that. I feel like that would be a great opportunity for him to, have a little bit more enjoyment in what he's doing in his career right now. But
go full-time RCR and O'Reilly?
That's what I'm saying for Austin Dillon. I think that would Kyle Busch go chase truck championship. Austin Dillon go pull a Justin Allgaier.
So what's to come of the RCR Cup program? What are you saying?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know.
what are they going to? They can't abandon it
in those seats, but who knows? This is Mario at Lost Schemes on Twitter. This is what how he responded. Announced Busch Talladega in the 33 Cletus car, so he breaks his leg again and can quit the team. That's where certain Kyle Busch fans are with this season right now. Now, obviously, we are not wishing that on him. We don't hope for that to happen. I think Mario's just trying to make light of the situation here, but that's just crazy, man, isn't it? Here's another
crazy.
one.
Yeah.
Here's another one from Stock Car Vaults on Instagram. Free Kyle Busch, school plus work walkout, April 15th, 2026, Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Spread the word if anybody's interested in that.
Kyle, if you can hear me, blink twice. If you're in danger, blink 3 times. We'll come get you, buddy.
Yeah, and then the caption, the actual caption of the post is, "We the people have had enough and we are going to make our voices heard.
Like they're holding him hostage. Like, no, the car is bad. And let's be honest, he's not so great either nowadays. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, man. Let's see here. Do we have race result? This is the race results graphic. Just looking at some of these comments. Kyle is better off driving a Lionel diecast.
Okay. Weird analogy, but okay.
Left until Kyle leaves. Unreal, and cheering for my driver to not be a lap down at the end of stage 1. What hurts the most as a KB fan is before I used to say, hopefully this weekend he gets him another win. And now it's hopefully he stays in the lead lap with this tractor they'd be giving him.
I tell you, you Kyle Busch fans, you are really dedicated. I mean, you are ride or die. If you're still on the Kyle Busch train, I have major respect for you.
Yep. And then again, this is another one from Stock Car Vault. By the way, I don't know if that's the same person or if their friend runs the Hall of Pretty Good account on Instagram, but one of my favorite Instagram follows right now. If you're looking for somebody to check out, they went and found a bunch of early tweets from RC himself at rchildress3 on Twitter. Yes, we have some work to do. Not acceptable. We will fix it. Got to win. That is from May 13th, 2012. RC tweeted that.
Of just the state of RCR?
I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Harvick would have still been there, so they would have had that going for them at the very least. Austin Dillon was still full-time nationwide at that point, but yeah, that was 14 years ago. The more things change, the more they stay the same, I suppose.
Well, last time this happened for Roush Racing, they got a technical alliance with Fenway, they got the money with deal with Fenway. It got a little better, but still was not going well. The best thing they could do was downsize and then add Brad Keselowski to the mix, and I'd say it's been a major improvement. But the bad thing is RCR has already done the downsizing. I think the last thing they can do is technically align with somebody, but they've done some of that. We are welcome business and colleague, but it's more a colleague, teaming up with them. But I don't know what else they can do.
Well, and they've gone the RFK route in the sense that they brought in Kyle Busch, and I think Austin Dillon is taking on some more manager. I mean, Austin's primarily responsible for Kyle coming there, right? So through both of those, you kind of have the role that Keselowski played coming to. Again, I'm not putting Austin Dillon on the same level as Brad Keselowski necessarily, but I just think a lot of people have said maybe this might be a place where he can shine in his second career after he hangs up the helmet, so to speak, as a driver. I would certainly hope that they've given some of those responsibilities to him and helping run the family organization. And you bring in a veteran like Kyle Busch, a proven multiple-time Cup champion, 60 Cup wins at the time that he joined, and looked like it was going quite well to start 23, picking up 3 wins there. But I mean, it's just it's at a certain point you have to wonder how much more he could take and his fans can take.
Yeah, it's going to be it's a combination of a pending explosion of something. We're going to have another signature Kyle Busch flip out moment. I predict maybe before the Coke 600. There's a lot, huh?
Everything's great.
Everything's great. Yeah, I can't wait for a good Holler interview at Kansas or something.
Here's Iceman. Swap Austin Dillon with Austin Hill. Put Jesse Love and Kyle Busch's ride. So there you go. Well, there's your answer to who would get the Cup seats, right? It's their 2 current O'Reilly drivers.
Just do the switcheroo.
Yeah. Which again, I've been saying, your personal opinions of Austin Hill aside, and I've certainly been very critical of Austin Hill over the last year, but I think from a talent perspective, I think there's no reason why he couldn't be in a Cup car on a full-time basis. And they brought the 33 out for him on occasion here, but
there's no way Austin Dillon is getting out of the 3 car until he's in Pop's position.
I don't disagree with that.
It's not happening.
Yeah. Oh, and then Jesse Love as well. I mean, again, I think he's worthy of the Cup seat here as early as next season if one is available to him. But I don't know, man. I can think of there's not a ton of teams right now where I would want to be less. I mean, if RCR is my only option for a Cup seat, then maybe I take it. But it is not all sunshine and rainbows over there, that organization right now. On the Cup side, at the very least, their O'Reilly program still seems to have some speed to it. But
that's all they've got right now.
Yeah. So, yeah, again, we'll keep an eye on that. Certainly hope to see it turn around for Kyle, feeling a lot like Jimmy Johnson in his final years. Everybody hoping that he's still got one more win left in him before he ultimately moves on.
He had a Clash win, and that was about it.
Yeah. Whether it's going to be part-time or if he goes and chases that truck championship, who knows? But all right, one more topic here on the racing side of things. Speaking of Talladega coming up, the whole fuel saving debate has popped back up again, and it sounds like they're tweaking the length of the stages. We're hearing rumors that this popped up. I saw the tweet that made Reddit door bumper clear. Haven't gotten to listen to a podcast yet, but it sounds like there are rumors that maybe there might be 4 tire stop mandates. Like if you come in to change tires, you have to change all 4 of them, or if it's a green flag pit stop, you got to change 4 tires as well. And I feel like we're so close to reinventing the wheel when the obvious answer is just not having the stages. Why do we need the stages?
Yeah. Kind of a clear answer, but I'm glad they're trying something. I know. Let Junior figure it. Not Dale Jr. I mean, like, it's like the kid that's learning from his own mistakes. It's like, let the little tyke figure it out on his own. He'll circle around. He'll find it eventually. But I'm just glad that they're trying something. They realize it's a problem, and they're trying something. I'll give them that.
Okay, so here's where the conversation started on Twitter today. NASCAR, this is from Austin Konensky on Motorsports Wire USA Today. NASCAR is looking at the possibility of mandatory 4-tire pit stops at superspeedway tracks in 2027, according to Steve O'Donnell himself on Door Bumper Clear. Slapshoes quotes that and says they will do literally anything, or they will literally do anything, besides getting rid of stages. Steven Stumpf of Front Stretch quotes this and says NASCAR got rid of stage cautions at road courses in 2023, but there was so much backlash. They reverted the change before the season even ended.
I didn't see the backlash.
At a point where there'd be no stage yellows at all if that first experiment had gone better. So then I quote this and say, am I just forgetting this? Was I just in an echo chamber? Everyone I talked to either found it relieving to have caution-free stages or said that it didn't go far enough and stages should be removed entirely. Maybe I missed it, but so much backlash, in quotes, so much backlash, feels overblown. Stephen responds to me, what Alex the Admiral did a better job of articulating than me was that the lack of cautions exposed how poor the car was at racing, which is more what I was trying to get at. It wasn't the stage cautions itself that caused ire, but rather how the car raced them. So when I respond, gotcha, no argument there. I guess my counter to that would be that the solution needs to be fixing the car rather than messing with the race format, which is the same conversation we're having now regarding super speedways, ironically enough. So again, I think the tragic part of all this is that we focus so much on fixing intermediates from the Gen 6 era with the Gen 7/next gen car that we broke absolutely everything else in the process. Road course racing has not been as good. Short tracks have not been as good. And super speedways have not been as good now that the field just rides around and fuel saves all day. So again, I think the solution to that is, who knows when the Generation 8 car is going to come out or how much work can be done to fix the Gen 7. But fix the car. Don't try to put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound by messing with the race format that you're already kind of in a box that you created for yourself in the first place. That really, if we're being honest, probably isn't going to do much of anything.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. That's about it. I mean, it's the problem is with the car, and so altering the format of the race itself to accommodate your car, like you said, is not solving anything.
No,
we're pretty far along in this Gen 7 this Gen 7 era too. Surprisingly enough, it was supposed to debut in 2021, and then had to be delayed for 2022 after COVID. And it's surprising that we're already this far into the run. To be honest with you, it feels like it was just a few days ago.
Well, when you think about it, 2013 to 21 was the run of a Gen 6 car. That's 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
When we get to the halfway point of this year, we've reached the halfway point of that lifespan for this car. It'll be 4.5 years this summer. So are we maybe at the point where we start having those conversations? Can we decide maybe it's time to start brainstorming, developing the Generation 8 car, or is the Gen 7 car so expensive from a cost standpoint that we want to try to squeeze as much life out of it as possible? But any money you save from that, do you maybe lose from declining ratings and declining attendance from fans that aren't thrilled with the show that's going on right now? I saw the ratings come out. Truck was down a tick or two, but I think it was mostly flat. O'Reilly was up. Cup was down multiple ticks as well. Now, caveat there was obviously Cup going up against the Masters. We'll get into that here in just a moment as well. But I think the fact that the O'Reilly ratings have been boosted and being on network TV with the CW certainly helps, no doubt. But I think part of that is also, you ask a lot of race fans right now, which of the 3 series puts on the best racing? I think majority of them are going to tell you O'Reilly.
O'Reilly, yeah, it's pretty clear. So, it speaks for it. I mean, the product speaks for itself, and yeah, it's hopefully this will be something we can get fixed in the Gen 8. But again, it's so far away.
All right. And some final things before we wrap up tonight, going on elsewhere in the world of sports. Congratulations to Rory McIlroy, a rare repeat winner at Augusta, as Jim Nantz put it on Sunday. He doesn't make it easy for himself in the slightest. I feel like
throw it into the woods, my man.
Yeah. Like James Allen after Lewis Hamilton won his first Brazil in 2008. Doesn't make it easy for himself, does he? But the result of it all, he is a back-to-back winner of the Masters, only the 4th player ever to do that after Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods. What unbelievable company that is to be in.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all credit to him for finding a way to finish it off there. And again, congratulations to CBS as well. I will say, a little disappointing coverage of the 18th hole. I think a lot of people were disappointed that the final shot of Rory's final putt was with his back turned and wasn't completely clear seeing the ball going there. But
yeah. I mean, you could also go. Yeah, you could also go to masters.com and have multiple cameras without signing in or anything. And I think Prime did a really good job covering all the other parts of it. But yeah, CBS, the last putt, it was far away and a miss, and so it was just a little pitch in for that had to be the final shot. So it would have been nice if they had someone facing the front of him for sure, though.
We'll recap WNBA draft here real quick. Congratulations, UConn's AZ Flood going number 1 overall. First time in a while that the consensus, there hasn't really been a consensus number 1 pick, but she joins Paige Beckers in Dallas, and who would have thought, the Dallas Wings, who would have thought that me as a Birds fan would be doing one of these streams in a shirt that says Dallas on it, but that's where I'm at now with my Birds. Much more happy about my Flyers, finally, after 6 long years of trying, 6 years of frustration, beating my friend Kobe Lambeth's Carolina Hurricanes to clinch a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs last night in the shootout. And I told Kobe, listen, I will make a deal with you. Your Canes do us a favor tonight in hockey, and we will return the favor in basketball when the Sixers inevitably lose their playing game. And the Hornets, which actually, now that I think about it, I think that game is going on right now. Hopefully the Hornets win tonight. It's tied 39-all with 6:12 left in the second quarter as we stream here right now. So hopefully the Hornets finish this off. If the Sixers lose, I will gladly take a step back and let your Hornets have the 8th seed in the playoffs. And he said, you got a deal. So we got the first part of that down. Now the Sixers need to hold up their end of the bargain, and Kobe can get his Hornets into the NBA playoffs there. But in all seriousness, great to see the Flyers pulling that off with this late season charge that they've put together. And my Philadelphia Union as well, finally on the board, not just with 1 point, but 3 beating Montreal 2-1 this weekend. So hey, 28-0-6, right? That's what we're doing here. After this is going to be the spark that leads to that. But yeah, I don't know what else, Brandon. Any other highlights from the sports weekend? I think the Masters obviously the big one. I don't know how much of that you got to catch
just
live, but
too much. It was a superb game, all the rounds, and really, I don't watch golf any other point of the year other than the Masters, and I feel like I'm a casual when it comes to that because it's like race fans that only watch the Daytona 500 and Indy, and but still, I don't care. It's a fun game, and they really make the Masters entertaining and just peaceful. It's the aura that it gives off.
Yeah.
Am I using the right words?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think shout out Scotty Scheffler as well, made Rory earn it. Bogey-free weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The first player, I think the records for that only go back to 1942. The tournament a little bit older than that, but
and to be 11 under par in anything just is completely beyond comprehension.
Yeah, he had a great weekend, and felt bad for Justin Rose. Looked like for a little while that he might sneak through and capture that after their epic battle, he and Rory last year, but wasn't quite meant to be. I'm sure he'll come back for at least a few more tries though and give it a shot. But of course, Jack won it at 86, 46 years old. So and Tiger not too long ago in 2019 at 40, what was it, 42, 43, I think. So yeah, you can stay competitive into your early to mid 40s at Augusta, and we'll see. Maybe his time will be next year. So that is going to pretty much wrap it up for us here tonight. If anybody in the chat has any final questions before we sign off, feel free to speak now or forever hold your peace here. A couple of quick video updates. I am at Michigan right now in my Busch Series rewatch. We have a new leader in the Owners' Championship. The 29 car has overtaken the 60. That's where I'm at with that right now, and working on my diecast collection to go with illustrations for that project. I'll just put the call out right now. I maybe have a lead for this, but I want to say thank you to whoever alerted me after I posted that screen grab of Paul Wolfe crew chiefing Patrick Carpentier at Montreal in 2007 for the Fitz team. I was alerted that there was a Canadian Winner Circle exclusive 124 of that car, Patrick Carpentier's Busch Series debut, that was apparently permanently taking up space in Zeller stores all across Canada before they shut down, and is now extremely rare in the United States. I didn't even know it existed until I posted that and somebody replied. So if anybody out there has one that they're willing to part with, I will certainly make you a reasonable offer for that, because I'm trying to collect as many 07 cars as possible here, and I wasn't aware that the Fitz team got a diecast release. I believe that was the only one. I don't think David Stremme got a Supercuts car or anything like that, but certainly, if anybody happens to know anybody that has one, any Canadian viewers watching this, certainly let me know if you have any leads on that here. And then on the game show side of things, still got a couple ideas in the works, like I mentioned in the Patreon. Thank you everybody that suggested their top 10 worst GSN originals follow-up video to that. That may be in the works for release later this month if I can get my act together. Got a busy week here coming up. Going to be doing a little bit of traveling, but that is shaping up to be the next game show release in all likelihood. A couple more comments from Iceman before we sign off. Thank you for bringing this up as well. Forgot to mention it. Good job, Dylan Welch, for replacing Adam Alexander this weekend in the CW booth. I hope things are all right with Adam. Still haven't heard a reason for his absence. Yeah, I haven't either. Certainly want to wish Adam our best here. Hope that he's all right and his family's all right. But in the meantime, Dylan Welch did fit right in. I thought did a fantastic job filling in the booth. And then that led to Heather DeBow replacing Welch on pit road as well. So great job to her also stepping in under those circumstances.
Well, that would explain that I was listening on mute because I had no idea. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, Brandon, with that, any final thoughts before we sign off for the evening here?
Well, I've got some good news. We are 5 race weekends away from being back with NASCAR on Prime. I'm getting some Fox fatigue again, Ben. I hate to tell you, but coverage is still better this year. But I still have like this feeling whenever it's Fox coverage. It's like It could be better though. So I'm looking forward. I guess it's the past that still comes back to get you about how what they've done in the past. It's those memories that come back up. So I'm looking forward to having Prime back with the Cup weekends again.
All right. Well, I just took a look at the MLB standings before we came on the show here tonight, Brad. I know you mentioned you've got your Braves hat on. They're the last team that hasn't dropped a series yet this year.
That's true.
And I know that everybody's expecting the Dodgers to three-peat with their loaded multi-billion-dollar payroll.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But I want to remind people that it is a long season. And I just saw in the Secret Base Patreon group chat a couple distressed members from a few days back saying the Mariners are the worst team in the league. They were 4-9. Now they're on a 4-game win streak, and they're almost back to 500. We're 17 games in, people. There's a lot that can change between now and September, October. So I wouldn't give up hope here just yet. My Phillies have been off to a pretty slow start here.
They're down 3-7, top of the 6 to the Cubs.
Yeah.
Just want to get your live reaction.
Well, they scored quite a few runs last. I was hoping, because the Flyers got down to a 2-0 hole against Carolina. I was saying, like, could you guys have given some of that scoring support to your neighbors across the street as they're trying to claim? You guys have months that you can make up if you drop this tonight. The Flyers need this, but the Flyers ended up coming back anyway, so it all worked out there in the end. But yeah, we'll keep tabs on all that, obviously, as the year goes on. Thank you so much again for joining us for this Tuesday stream. Hopefully back to Monday next week. And we will see you then. For Brandon Crossland, I'm Ben Schneider. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time on this channel. Have a great one, everybody.